Hey guys, welcome back to my Hypertrophy 1.0 program. Today is week 2, day 5, and we're hitting back and biceps again. I'm starting off with the assisted pull-up machine, and I really like this because you are much more stable than a conventional pull-up, and you can get way more reps because every pound that you add to the actual assisted pull-up machine is a pound that you would subtract from your body weight. So it actually makes the movement much easier so you can actually adjust it and hit the rep range that you may desire. So today I'm aiming for around 6 to 12 repetitions. Last week I had it at 60 and I got 10. So we're going to bring it to 40. So it actually makes it more challenging. And we're going to go for more repetitions. Little form adjustment that I like to enact while using the assisted pull-up machine is to kind of like interiorly rotate my shoulders and elbow. So I'm kind of like going like this. Or wait, no, that would be external rotation for the shoulders. Sorry. And then I'm kind of like squeezing down and flexing my lats to initiate the movements. And I find that this just helps with kind of waking my lats up and getting them engaged. And on a pull up, they're supposed to be engaged, so it works out. Next, I'm going to be doing 3 sets of the chest supported machine row. This time I'm actually going to be strapping up for this. I don't think that I did um, last time or it, even recently at all. Like I haven't been using straps on this exercise. But I think I'm going to do it today because I'm feeling a little bit fatigued. I'm a little bit sleepy, but I still want to be able to perform my best. And I feel like when you're like kind of starting to feel the effects of training in like a fatigue way, then I think that your grip strength kind of starts to go out first before anything else. I think that that's actually a good proxy to determine if you're like really well recovered or not is how is your grip strength feeling? Can you pick up heavy objects and maintain that composure, or are you tempted to drop them? You can also just kind of feel it in your hands if you're feeling kind of weak. So I'm going to strap up on this just because I don't want my grip to limit how much my back can do. In other words, I don't want it to be a limiting factor. I really like adding this movement in combination with something like a vertical pull, because the vertical pull is gonna, by nature, hit the lats a lot harder than this is gonna hit like the mid back, upper back a lot harder. On these, I'm really emphasizing like stretching forward when I'm fully lengthened like this, and then I'm like kind of arching back when I'm fully shortened. And this is just gonna provide a greater stretch in the bottom range and then a greater contraction in the top range, which I just think provides like a better exercise overall. If you're cutting yourself short in each of those ranges, then what are you really doing? You know, I don't think you're getting nearly as much out of the lift as you could otherwise. And I even think that I could probably be emphasizing those portions more. I count that as a successful set. However, I do kind of wish that I slowed down the eccentric and kind of controlled the movement a little bit better. I could work on that in the future. Next up, just like last week, we're doing 2 sets of the machine straight arm lat pull down. So this one is just going to be targeting the lats, kind of in isolation. And we're only doing 2 sets today. I upped it by 10 pounds because it felt a little light last time, and I think we got over 15 reps. That's on the upper end of the range. I'm gonna count that as 12. And again, if you guys don't have access to a machine like this, you could totally do the cable variation or the dumbbell variation if you have to. We're back to the rear delt row on the cable machine, just like this. We're doing 4 sets again this week. Or this day. So, I'm actually going to stick to the same weight and probably reps. We'll see. I mean, if I get more than 10, then that'd be great. But I'm going to pretty much stick to the same weight. And the reason for that is because last time I felt like my form wasn't really locked in. It just didn't feel that great. Maybe I just don't like this exercise. Maybe my body just doesn't really jive with this exercise. That could be the case. But we're going to keep running it at least for the remaining 2 weeks of this program just to see if I end up liking it. I think that's like a big thing with lifting is sometimes you just got to play around and figure out what works best for you. There's not one size fits all when it comes to lifting and training in general. You kind of just need to play around, and eventually you might like one exercise over another. You know, like you might like leg press more than squats. Does that mean that you should exclusively do leg press? Maybe, maybe it just works better for you. If you feel like you get everything you need out of it, then why would you do the other one? Yeah, I actually got 12 there, like fairly easily. My form felt pretty good. I'm still gonna stick to the same weight, but let's just try and hit 12 reps for each set. I like this exercise for the same reason why I like the rope face pull, because you're getting some like low traps, mid traps, and all the other upper back musculature in the movement as well. So it's not only just training the rear delts, you're training a combination of all these muscle groups, but especially the rear delts. So it's kind of like more bang for your buck if you think about it. And honestly, like the body is meant to move as a whole. It's not meant to just be isolated at all times. So I'm not saying that you shouldn't include isolation lifts, but having the bulk of your movements with the idea that the body is meant to move in conjunction with each other is a good idea, I think. Next time, we're definitely going to have to push this exercise. I'm going to at least have to go up one notch in weight because this is a little bit too light, I think. Today, just like last week, I'm going to be subbing out the machine rear delt fly for the cable variation. We're going to be doing it bilaterally because we're doing 4 sets on this particular day. And I think that honestly, just moving forward, for this Hypertrophy 1.0 program that I've designed. I think that I am going to continue doing the cable variation instead of the machine variation. It's just not very practical with how my gym is set up. Everyone loves that machine, and to set up a camera would be straight in the walkway. But honestly, I like this movement more anyway. I just wanted to include the other one for some sort of novel stimulus on our muscles, but we can always do it in the next program or spice it up in the next program. And I'm definitely going to increase the weight a little bit because that felt a little bit too easy. I'd like to briefly discuss supplementation. I used to be in the camp where I kind of believe that a lot of supplements that actually in reality have zero effect on muscle growth and body composition actually did. So like I'd be believing that fucking vitamin B12 would do something. Well, this is before I got a college education. It's before I worked in the gym. It's before I did a bunch of research on my own. And now I've kind of come to the conclusion that the only natural supplements that you guys that's going to be worth your guys' money is something like creatine, because it has so many studies and it's been proven to assist in strength gain, muscle gain, and it's even good for like brain health and stuff like that. Besides that, I think that like a fish oil and vitamin D3 are good ones. And the reason why I think that, it doesn't actually tie to muscle growth or body composition directly, but if you're deficient in those in the hormone of vitamin D3, or your omega 3s are low, then it can severely mess with the rest of your hormones and just your body as a whole, which can have negative side effects. So just making sure that those spaces are covered is a great idea, I think. And then lastly, protein powder. I think the protein powder is great just because it can help you supplement your diet so you can get enough protein, because after all, building muscle, in order to build muscle, your body needs those amino acids. It needs protein to repair your tissue and hypertrophy your muscle cells. So then maybe lastly, I'm throwing like caffeine or something because it can assist your performance in the gym. Honestly, my intensity isn't anywhere near I'd like it to be. I think that the last couple of days, my intensity was at an all-time high. Honestly, sometimes we have off days. I didn't sleep very well. I'm not very well rested. Not very well recovered. Some things came up that I can really avoid. So here I am, though, and I think that that's the important thing, is that even when you guys are having an off day, you still try and you still make it to the gym and you still put in the reps and you try and put the intensity, up there as much as you can. And that's the name of the game, because if you're constantly missing sessions just because you're not feeling it, then you're gonna get nowhere. I mean, even one session lost is kind of a big deal in the grand scheme I mean, it's not a big deal in the grand scheme of things, but one session repeatedly lost every now and again will result in less improvements. I mean, working out, while it's not a linear curve, it does have like slopes and troughs and stuff like that. You want to make sure that more times than not, by far, you are in the gym performing the best that you can. So anyway, while I was tempted to not go today because I'm on like time crunch and stuff, I still made it in here, and we're putting our best foot forward, so to speak. But as some of you noticed that I don't have abs programmed into this program. And the reason for that is pretty simple. It's because I think that we're getting enough abdominal work out of our compound lifts, because we do have a lot of compound lifts. However, I do think that it's not a bad idea to do direct ab training if you have time. Just that we're doing so much volume for all of the other muscle groups of the body that I find that it's hard to fit in things that aren't as needed. For example, we're doing a lot of pressing, so we're not directly training our front delts. And, I think it makes perfect sense that why would we waste or use up a lot of our energy on things that are already being hit. However, I think that in the next program, I'm definitely going to make some space for abs, because who doesn't want a six pack? Who doesn't want developed abs? And of course, I'm sure you guys have heard it. Abs are made in the kitchen. It's the one muscle group where having any body fat can hide them very, very well, can conceal them, so to speak. So all you're really doing when you're training your abs is, instead of burning that fat, because you can't spot reduce fat, all you're doing is actually building the abdominal muscles, which is great too. But I think the best of both worlds is to shred it off and build it. And we're getting some built. Anyway, we're doing biceps here. I'm going to grab these 20s so that we can get in some wrist curls and extensions. I mentioned last time I like to superset the two. You're already training your wrists a little bit while you're doing biceps. And biceps aren't so fatiguing that you can't add in another exercise in a superset fashion. Same with forearms. Training these is not going to be too fatiguing. Hit your biceps, although I do feel like doing biceps first and forearms second is a better way to go. It just makes more sense, I think, because your forearms can mess with how much you're doing in biceps. However, you're not actually using your biceps while doing forearms. Frick. Definitely not ideal sets there, but it's gonna have to do. I really do like the incline dumbbell curl because you're getting a huge stretch in the biceps when your biceps are behind your body like that. Okay, we're finishing off week 2, day 5 with a couple sets of machine preacher curls. I don't really have much to say about this exercise other than I think that it's a good finisher for the biceps because you can do a lot of reps that are very stable and controlled. So let's just get right into it. I think that a lot of people tend to have a pretty dogmatic view when it comes to lifting equipment. Like a lot of people frown on people using machines just because you are very fixed into place and it doesn't require like a lot of stabilizer muscles and stuff like that versus like Olympic lifting is very, very technical and requires a lot of coordination and strength. So people tend to respect it a lot more. But you shouldn't be like isolating or removing one whole like demographic of exercise equipment from your routine just because you think that one is superior in a certain case. They all have meaning and they all can fit into your program in some way if you just give them the chance. Like I think the machines are great for adding in more volume without totally destroying yourself. And much on the other side of the coin, like deadlifts and barbell squats and stuff like that are really good for building coordination and strength and power, but they are going to be more fatiguing. So, and then dumbbells are kind of like in the middle of that curve in my mind anyway. So I think that knowing their strengths and weaknesses can help you determine which ones are right for you at different times in your lifting journey. Okay, guys, that's going to finish up week 2, day 5. I apologize that it wasn't the most enthusiastic and like powerful, sturdy workout. But you know, days like this, while they suck, they're going to be inevitable. But at least we still showed up and got the work done. I hope you guys are enjoying the program.